Dr. Accurso here to talk about a really fun subject. What are the healthiest wines and cocktails to consume? Remember, there's a lot of literature and science out there that conflicts. Some say alcohol is great for your heart, or a high amount of resveratrol in alcohol is great for your heart. Some say that you should avoid it at all costs. Whatever the reason, if you're going to go out and consume wines and cocktails, you might as well drink the healthiest type. And I'm going to discuss that with you today. So first off, there are a couple studies out there that you may want to look at. One of the studies that is really taking shape in the world of resveratrol, or shaping the world of resveratrol, I should say, is the Dr. Creasy study, which came out and looked at the amount of resveratrol in wines around the globe. And he found that specifically in New York State, there were high amounts of resveratrol in the Pinot Noir and the Merlot. And that's something to keep in mind, because you can do research till you're blue in the face, but if you keep these really quick and skinny rules, you're going to have the right mindset when you walk into a restaurant or a cocktail bar, and you're going to know exactly what to order. The colder climates are the type of climate that increase resveratrol in the fruit. And resveratrol is released when there is fungus present. So the fruit is trying to fight off fungus. And when cold weather is happening, the fruit is essentially being attacked, and fungus can grow easily, and that's when resveratrol is released. And then the grape is harvested, and that's when you get these really high amounts of resveratrol. Remember, resveratrol is measured in micromolars, so not to get too boring and too science heady, but when you look at micromolars, when he looked at resveratrol in the Pinot Noir and the Merlot, he found that those were the highest, 13.6 in Merlot, or I'm sorry, 10 in Merlot, 13.6 in the Pinot Noir. Now there is one wine that he found was ridiculously high, and that was in Dr. Frank wine. Now you may have not heard that before. You can just look up Dr. Frank. I don't have any plug or any kickback with this company, but he found this was the highest amount of resveratrol, and it measured at 45.1, which is absolutely through the roof. It blew all the other wines away. Another word that you want to keep in mind when you're thinking about wines is anthocyanin. Now, that is fruit coloring, meaning that you don't need to drink wine to get resveratrol. You can eat fruits, you can eat apples, you can eat blueberries. Cyanin means blue, and so it's apparent in a lot of fruits that are dark. And grapes, now that we're talking about wines, it's very apparent in grapes as well. One of the areas that they measure, or numerous areas that they measured for life expectancy, was blue zones, and they found that these people were consuming high amounts of resveratrol, or high amounts of dark fruit. They also were using medicinal, or I should say herbs and medicines with alcohol to further push the medicine into the body, because alcohol is a carrier. You don't digest alcohol, so it can push medicines into the body very easily, and that's been happening for thousands of years. But you can think of wine as the same thing. Wine can be a carrier. So when you drink wine, it can actually boost the amount of antioxidants in your body, because that wine is being a carrier. So when you look at wines, just make sure that you're looking at New York State wines. That's really safe. If you were to walk into a restaurant and not know what to order a New York State wine. And Pinot Noir is a really safe bet for resveratrol, and also Merlot is a really safe bet. Now when you're looking at cocktails, here's just some really quick rules of thumb. You're not gonna essentially walk into a cocktail hour and they'll have healthy cocktails on the menu. You may just need to have some things that you put into place, like you're going to avoid syrups, because those are high in sugar. A lot of times they're processed. You want to also always go with vodka-based drinks, because that's a really healthy alcohol, and a lot of times the processing is very minimal, if any at all. So that's going to be really, really good for you there. And then Cokes. You always want to stay away from Cokes. Stay away from anything highly processed or highly sugary drinks, because that's only going to add to the inflammation within your body. I hope this helped you a ton. That is really the quick and skinny on healthy wines and cocktails. If you have any questions, you can go to designerhealthcenters.com or you can go to superhumanentrepreneur.com. And once again, it was great hanging out with you. Cheers. Old fart wine. And you have your very pristine old geezer wine. Gosh, I hate when I forget words. And those cyanids.